Please rise for the pledge and a silent invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Roll call, please.
John Junko.
Here.
Bo Bofamy.
I'm here.
Tom Jordan. Lance Green.
Here.
Newton White. Stan Schmidt.
Here.
Chair Mills Benet.
Here. And I will entertain a motion for the consideration of minutes from October 22nd, 2020. Where's Tom? He's usually on that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Roll, please.
John Junko.
Yes.
Bo Bofamy.
Yes.
Lance Green.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair Mills Benet.
Yes. Item number 5, application for the variance on 701. Request by the applicant has been continued to December 17th, 2020. Planning Commission meeting. So we are opening item number 6. Variance Chapter 9, Article 3, Section 27B of the Land Development Code, case number 20900000003. A variance from Chapter 9, Article 3, Section 27B9 of the Land Development Code to allow a dock to be set back 0 feet in lieu of the required 25-foot setback to the projected south and west boundaries of the subject property. Tim Berman.
Good evening, Tim Berman, Community Development. The subject property is located off of Shamrock Drive. This property is unique as only a few other ones along that area. Essentially have 2 frontages onto water. One side is Halifax River, the other side is the canal there. As you can see, the applicant came into us a few weeks ago about proposing to construct a dock at this location. And looking to do it in a similar general location as the previous dock on this property. The previous dock was there up until about 2012. That's basically from looking at Google Earth images as to the last time we saw that dock there then. So it's around that time frame. We assume it was removed or possibly storm damage then. But the current property owners now want to install a dock in the same general location, similar layout too as that previous dock location. The variances for a code requirement. The code states now that a dock must be set back 25 feet from the projected boundary lines of a property. That code was really intentional. Our intention is to ensure that there was sufficient room in between docks along the river there for boats to get in and out of the dock from adjacent property owners. Therefore, if you were to the north or to the south of this, the intent is to make sure that there's sufficient room to get in and out of the dock for both the property owner and their adjacent property owner, is what that separation requirement's for. In this case, due to the location along the canal and also the adjacent property owner there, if this variance is approved, there would be sufficient room for boats to navigate in and out of the docks along the riverside then. The applicant has indicated in their request that along the canal side, the intent is to construct, similar to the previous dock, a 4-foot wide walkway to extend out to their proposed dock. Leaving about 40 feet from the edge of the proposed walkway to the canal wall on the other side there then. So navigation in and out there is not going to be impacted as it would be if they chose not to put a dock on the Halifax side. They could technically put a dock on the canal side by code. So this option too leaves more of that area open on the canal side then. As we say in the report, looking at kind of the configuration there of the property, there is a shoal or like a natural sandbar in that area of the center of the property. You can kind of see it on the graphic here. I think we had some other ones in the report too. The concern is that pushing that to the center there will require additional dredging. The applicant did not, was concerned about the additional dredging as to the impacts it might have, or the reoccurrence of that shoal coming back as they are trying to dock a boat in that location. The proposed location kind of keeps them further away from that area, which would allow the docked boat to go in and out then and not require as much dredging as if it was required to go to the center location. Based off the review of the variance and the proposal, staff is recommending approval of the variance, but only for the subject property, basically the projecting boundary on the south and west boundary.
South and west.
Yeah, south would basically be along this boundary right here along the canal side then.
Okay.
And the west kind of property line would be the facing out to the river then. We didn't want it to apply to the, if it was applied to general then, it could apply to the opposite side, which was not part of the evaluation then. So we didn't want it, down the road to get into, issue later on then. So we wanted to make sure that the approval was subject to just that area where it was requested by. We also did have concerns from the property owner across the canal. I believe it's the house right here with the boat, and they may be in the audience today, about in and out of, if that dock was built there. As shown here, concerns about getting in and out of the canal, but as you can see, the proposal would be at least 40 feet on that end there, but that could be further discussed then. Again,
And that's just a walking dock, right?
basically the proposal is for a walking dock to get out to the main dock then. The code requires those to be a maximum of 4 foot. So unless they scrap this idea of this dock and went with another alternative to put a dock in the canal, that's essentially the width that you would get out in that area.
Got it.
So, like I said, we based off the criteria here and the proposal, staff is recommending approval of it, subject to what we said about the locations and also compliance with all other land development code requirements in terms of dock construction.
Questions for Tim? John?
Purely curious, the old dock, you said it was last documented back in 2012 before the hurricane?
But per Google Earth,
Oh yeah, what was that?
2012 was the last image that it appeared
That
on,
actually showed.
and then it jumped to like 2015. So something happened in that 3-year time frame.
And then from that point to now, had the codes changed or was it grandfathered in because it was an
There
old
was
dock?
no code change in that from 2012 to this period. Even previous codes too, going back then, had the same setback requirement. But going back into Google, going back as far as we can go is 95. It appeared there, so there's no I don't have an idea
It's
as
been
to
there a while.
when that previous dock was built and permitted then.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Bo?
Yeah, how deep is the water there?
I'd have to let for the applicant to speak on that then. But in terms of where they want to propose their dock, they basically indicated the depth of the water was sufficient for what they want to do in terms of their platform that they want to install, plus to get the boat in and out then.
Yeah, I know how the currents drive the water, the water when you're trying to go in and out of these canals. But was there any consideration given to maybe doing a perpendicular dock off the existing wall instead of following the line of the canal, going perpendicular to the riverfront?
This is kind of what the applicant had proposed to us
Oh,
then.
okay. All right.
They can speak more on their dock design then.
Yeah.
And on that then. I think the other thing too, they wanted to make sure that the way the house was laid out too, that allowed for on that design of the dock, and again just replicating what was there generally previously.
Well, the aesthetics are good. What about the docking? Will there be any tie-ups on the south side? Or is there any restriction on tie-up there?
And this basically is designed to be a standard platform there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, someone who visits for a short time or, there could theoretically dock up there. But the intent for the permanent docking solution is on here, and the applicant could speak more to that. Typically when we do dock permits then, if there is, if it's being designed to have, structures docked there, it's going to have to require a different set of code requirements then. So our approval would just be for the docking dock with a location in the river there, and that's what we're approving, and that's what the request is today. But I don't think there's anything stopping someone from tying up there momentarily on that one. I can't say with there, but the applicant can speak more into that then.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Stan?
Yeah, so if I understood what you said, Tim, and maybe I just want to clarify this. So this proposal tonight is just the variance to build it, but there will actually be a dock permit that'll go through you guys?
Correct. The dock permit would come through us.
Okay, and that would specify the tie-offs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Right now, the applicant didn't want to do all the necessary paperwork and engineering for a dock yet until the variance was before the planning commission then.
You good?
Yeah, that's good.
Lance?
I have nothing.
All right. Can we hear from the applicant, please?
Hello, how's everyone?
Good.
How are you?
doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah, I think Tim pretty well covered everything. Basically,
Can you state your name really quick for the
oh, I'm
record,
sorry,
please?
Jack
Okay.
Wiles,
Thanks.
4625 Rivers Edge Village Lane in Ponce Inlet. The house is located in Port Orange, of course. So I'm representing my son, basically. Yeah, Tim covered everything pretty much. I think we're trying to mitigate the amount of dredging that would be needed there in that area. Also provide better navigation for neighboring properties. If you looked at the picture that was up there a few moments ago, the gentleman that, and they're here, I think, Kevin and his wife, that wrote the letter. Basically, that is their property there. If you look at that particular piece of property, the boat and their dock takes up about 55–60% of the canal. So we're just trying to create navigation for the people that are on down the canal. I mean, quite frankly, we could build a canal or build a dock, cross from theirs, which would leave no navigation up and down the canal. But we're just trying to be a good neighbor. Provide less covered dock space too, because moving the dock further to the middle is going to require more walkway, which is going to shadow the water more, which from an environmental impact, it would be greater than what we're proposing. And then, of course, Tim touched on this, but I know the dock was there. The neighbor bought their, I think, house in 2001, and dock's been there since '95. So, and until 2012. So it was there for at least 11 years while the neighbors lived there, which is, not really an issue other than the fact that I don't know what their concern is. But anyway, appreciate your consideration. Is there any questions for me?
John?
No, the questions I originally had were answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Bo?
No, I don't guess so. We're fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Stan?
Yeah, I got mine answered.
Lance?
I'm good.
Nothing?
Okay.
I'm
You?
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comments from the public. Please come up, state your name, your address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Can you put that slide back on with proposed?
Yeah.
No, first, Kevin London, Sandy London, 5 Coconut Road.
Tim will come up behind you and
Tim
he
will
can
put
put the,
We haven't talked with Jack at all. Maybe we should talk, so that you understand our concerns. I mean, we brought up a couple concerns, but we really didn't have a lot of time to think about this. And now looking at the pictures, the dock coming so far into the canal, ourself and neighbor next door, which is JD, I can't remember.
I think his last name's Hunt, maybe.
Yeah.
You spoke with
The
him.
navigation in and out of the canal can be pretty tricky, especially when it's windy and the current's blowing. Getting in and out of the canal can be pretty tricky. The dock going so far into the canal would make it a little difficult for all of us to get in and out of the canal. I don't really see a reason for the dock to even be in the canal.
Yeah, the walkway.
are you worried about the point at the end going around that
Well, it gets kind of
point?
tricky, like, if the wind's blowing out of the north and the current's going south, you can't go in the canal straight. One of the other problems is all the canals there are pretty filled in with debris and stuff, so the water's very shallow. The only place the water is actually deep is in the middle and only towards the end where I've been going in and out with my boat. When you get close to the seawalls on a low tide during the summer, it could be 3 inches of water. So if you're not in the middle, and you sometimes can't even come in straight, it could be pretty hard to navigate there, even with just a 4-foot dock there. No dock there would be much better. It's been great since the dock that was there originally is gone. We've lived in our house 20 years now, so we use the canal. We didn't talk to Jack didn't approach us, maybe we can work something out, but my concern is that dock even being there, and that it's so long. The dock was much shorter back in the day. There was a little bit more space to get around, but maybe we can work something out, but that is our concerns. And for JD next to us, the house just to the east of us. He wasn't able to make it here. He's still on the road driving down from New Jersey, so.
Okay.
And I guess one of my concerns is that if you look at the yellow walkway that extends from west to east, basically ends at the end of their cement area around the pool. Well, the actual access gate that they have is actually much further to the east than that. So I don't know if they would plan, you know, if you went with even this plan.
We should talk to Jack and see what they plan.
Yeah.
So we can figure something. Okay.
You know, typically, I believe that a gate probably extends maybe another 8 feet or so further to the east, which causes more interference. And it's just, as my husband was saying, that the shoaling along the south side of the canal is quite serious.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I have a question.
Do you have a question for them?
Yes.
You can come back up for a second. One of the commissioners has a
Oh, yeah,
question
sure.
for you.
Yeah, the, picture's gone now. Anyway,
Here.
I've got a copy of
Oh,
it
okay.
here. They can't see what I'm talking. Thank you. The, where the yellow lines extend down and to the right, going back to my original question to Tim, would it make any difference if that yellow line was perpendicular with the seawall? In other words, instead of following the line of the property into the river, it would give you a little bit more space there if it was a straight right off to the seawall. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, kind of like a dog leg?
No, I think he's talking having it closer to his seawall.
Well, instead of having it extend to a point, have it raise it up so that it's perpendicular. In other words, it's at a right angle to the concrete where around the pool there.
Right, I think if I may point at this, I think what you're trying to say.
Yeah, what I'm trying to
is
say.
that at this point, you go straight out.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of making it a.
Yeah, because
That would certainly help.
it gets a little tricky coming in and out of there according to the weather. You know, you leave in the morning and everything's fine. You come back at the afternoon, you're like, how are you even gonna get to
And
that
that's
dock?
something Jack can maybe work out with you
Right.
guys in his, the design once the variance is approved.
Okay, I think the variance you guys are talking about is having the dock out that far from the seawall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's concerned with
Mhm.
right now.
Thank you.
Well, no, it's about the walkway, it's not the
Yeah.
required for the variance, right?
The
To allow
variance
the
is
walkway.
having it a 0 distance from the property.
Property line.
The variance is regarding the setback requirement from the code
Right.
then.
Right.
And again, this is, again, just a general depiction. There
Right.
to vision, the key is basically the setbacks to be addressed here. That way we can go back to finalize everything on that end. And
Right.
So,
Yeah.
cause if the setbacks aren't approved, they're back to the drawing board and, maybe with the dock design then.
Well, it's
Gotcha.
just a suggestion to maybe help them reconcile on the dock one there, so.
Thank you.
The only,
Thank you.
can I make?
No, we have questions.
The only thing I was,
Yeah.
the only thing I was thinking about, is that, you know, Bo, on your idea too, because I looked at that, is that gonna get us closer into that shoal, are they gonna have enough room in
Yeah.
there? That would be the question you have to kind of consider on that.
Yeah, the shoal kind of sits right in the middle of the property.
Yeah,
as
you're
I
kinda-
see it, yeah. I understand.
Comments, Lance?
Yes. In all due fairness, when you look at this piece of property and you're looking at the canal, this particular property has just as much right to the canal as the properties across the canal. And that this property, if you read the packet, said that he could put a dock in that canal if you so choose. I think this is a very
Much better.
much better design and compromise to putting another dock in that canal, and that's how I look at it. The one thing, he could put a dock in the canal, and he's not. And this variance is saying that we're not gonna put a dock in the canal, which he
No.
has the right to do.
No, that's not what I'm saying, so, anyway,
Stan?
No question.
no.
Nope. John?
I guess from what I understand, they had been living in this house, the neighbors, over 20 years, so a majority of that, they have been living with a dock that has been existing in that location already. And as Lance brought up, the option to build a dock in the canal would definitely increase the hazard of going in and out of there during rough seas. I'm just trying to make they had spoken about they haven't spoken about a dock design yet, so there's no preliminary dock design at this point in time. It's just basically approving the variance to go to the next step.
Correct.
They have the concept of the dock is basically what you see here. What I was saying, this is not exactly dimensioned out and stuff like that then, but that layout there is conceptually what they want to go ahead and permit then. So
that's the yellow.
yes,
Yeah.
the yellow
Okay,
there.
so
and-
the old Google picture shows the walkway halfway into the pool patio.
right.
So their intention is to extend the walkway further into the canal. Just, that would be the only difference.
Again, that's based on the concept then that
Okay.
we have here then. So it would be further
All right.
than
And initially, the footprint will remain the same of what it was in the past. The existing dock that
Relatively,
got destroyed.
I
They're
don't
planning
know-
on putting something similar to that.
something similar. I don't know exact dimensions of that one there to say it's going to be
Right.
exactly there, but it's going to be
Okay.
compliant with code.
Yeah, I mean, as Lance pointed out, you're weighing two options. Either put one in where you're allowed and make it a worst case scenario, which would be regrettable, or if the neighbors could design, if a variance got approved, they can have a little bit of hearsay and cater to the similar design with maybe some alterations that both parties would mutually be happy. So, just trying to make sure everybody's neighborly about this.
Yeah, it sounds like Jack's trying to be neighborly
Yeah,
by doing
yeah.
it this way.
And as I understand, they have not yet physically spoken with one another in regards to this, which really should have been done prior to this meeting, because that way you may not have to been here. You could have already had a proposed, agreed design on the board.
Well,
And
we just have to approve the
Yeah.
variance so they can even get
Okay.
to that point.
But right now,
Right.
with the shawl and the limitations that they have, I pretty much see the whole package here already. Okay, I'm good.
Awesome. If no other comments, I'll entertain a motion. Do we have to, in this motion, do we have to stipulate what Tim said?
Yes, please. I think it's on the recommendation then. It was the south and west boundaries of the subject property.
Okay. Entertain a motion. Anybody?
I'll make that motion.
You gonna say the whole motion?
My iPad.
That's
my
why I didn't
iPad.
say, 'cause I'm
Yeah,
scrolling
yeah,
for
look
the-
at this going, okay.
I'm
for
trying
the-
to load it.
for
Oh,
staff
man.
I need a little help
recommendations.
here. I'm not loading up. Can't get
Men.
the case number.
Well, I'll second
I can't
it
get it.
if you're
I'm
gonna
not
go
loading.
with that.
Make the motion as presented.
On case number 20-90000003.
And I will second it upon staff's recommendations.
Roll call, please.
John Junko.
Yes.
Bill Wilson.
Yes.
James Green.
Yes.
Sam Schmidt.
Yes.
Sharon Bonet.
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for coming in and speaking with us.
A parting gift.
Item number 7.
Is that Penny? Oh, that's-
Comprehensive Plan Capital Improvements.
Did you say, is that Penny?
Where? Case number 20-275-00001. I like that one didn't have so many zeros.
Yeah.
Update and amend the comprehensive plan capital improvements element in accordance with Florida statutes. And we get a penny.
Sorry, Penelope Cruz planning. I'm just having some. It's not showing.
So
up.
is Lance, apparently.
It's weird. It's not showing up right, which defeats the point of the graphics. I'm just gonna do it like, oh, it doesn't show up like that either. That's so weird. Huh.
It almost looks like it's not connected, it's not downloading them.
Wi-Fi is
Yeah,
up.
I had revised it, so that's why. I'll just use this old version and the other one will. It's okay. I added something.
Yeah, the fork had been started on this by now.
I know. He is.
All right. So this is the annual CIE update, and basically it's required by state law. It's kind of the end of this cycle that we talk about every year. So we start out, as you see in your agenda today, around November, we do this annual concurrency management report. The one that you have on your agenda as a report tonight is gonna lead the discussion for the budget for next year and next year's CIE. So last year's concurrency management report analyzed all our infrastructure that's required for concurrency facilities. That kind of guides our budget discussions that we start in January, February with council. They ultimately adopt a capital improvements plan, the CIP, in August, and then finally gets adopted as part of the final budget in September. Then that capital improvements program basically just gets copied into the capital improvements element of the comprehensive plan as required by state law. So there's no new information that hasn't already been through public process. It's just a part of that cycle of getting it into all the different documents that it has to be into. So basically it's a strike through and underline format. You take out last year's information, put in this year's information, take away all the fiscal year 20, and then you're adding all the new information through fiscal year 26. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Lance?
No?
Stan?
Nope.
Phil?
Nada.
John?
No.
Wow, that was way too easy. And I don't think there'll be any comments from the public. So, I entertain a motion.
How many zeros?
That's the thing.
Is that determinant if you want to make the motion or not?
Exactly.
This was
Exactly.
actually not that many. You're good.
Yeah, okay, then I move to approve case number 20-275-00001.
Second.
Roll, please.
John Junko.
Yes.
Bo Volkman.
Yes.
Lance Green.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair Mills Benet.
Yes. That was super easy. All right, item number 8 is our staff report 2021 proposed public hearing and development review calendar.
Yeah, so every year we adopt these, the calendars of all our deadlines. Basically the same thing as last year. It's our meetings for Planning Commission are going to be the same. It's going to be that last Thursday except for November and December due to the holidays. So book those dates, get them on your calendars so you can remember to be here.
Yes.
Got plenty of notice. Looking at you.
Yeah. I didn't get text today either. I'm on
Are you getting reminder
get a
texts
text?
for meetings?
well,
I
Are you
almost did.
serious?
I
No,
almost
no.
did, but he's my neighbor.
What is
Oh,
happening
okay.
right now? Wow.
I almost did. I saw your wife in the garden, and I almost beeped a bit.
yeah, tell them to be at the meeting, right?
Wow.
Wow.
No questions? No comments? Nothing? We don't have to vote? We're good? Yes. Perfect. So now we have the item number 9, 2020 Concurrency Management Report, which is always super fun.
So that's just a report to you guys? There's not
We don't have to do anything with it?
Yeah, you can just read it. If you have any questions for staff, we don't really have a presentation, it's just a report that we give you.
Perfect.
I'd like to go through that page by page.
Commissioner comments, Lance?
Nope.
Stan?
No.
John?
No, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Bo?
No, and happy Thanksgiving, and
Stay
thank you for
safe.
the cake.
Yes. Staff comments. Tim is like having a seizure back there.
I do
shaking
got
his
one
head.
comment, one question, Tim. Come on, I'm sorry.
Oh, you almost got away that close.
I couldn't help but notice that the little gas station out there, Pat, next to the Waffle House is open.
Yes.
And they were able to open without any cut through or basically.
We worked with them and the issue is Walgreens.
Right, I knew that.
They, I mean, I think staff has reached out to Walgreens. I've reached out to Walgreens. We've helped them. The owner of that provided us probably about 15 different types of communications he's tried to get with Walgreens.
Yeah.
They're not responsive. We did as much as we could on that side. Also got I believe a documentation that if Walgreens ever comes in for anything to develop, this group is then required to make that connection then. So we got as much as we possibly could, and then it came to the point where we couldn't hold their CO up
Right.
because of Walgreens then.
And I
but
see
they
that
did
being a
try
dead,
to.
I see that being a dead end now. I mean, Walgreens is, legally, they're not gonna wanna give, you know what I mean?
think
It's a
what-
liability
yeah.
to them in the long run, for us to, you know, put traffic into their parking lot, if you will, but. I
But
get
you
it.
know, with the way things happen with retail, you see all the drugstores starting to kind of go out of business. That could, not to say it happened there, but that could be a redevelopment possibility. 10 years down the road from now, let's see. But I
Right.
think staff was able to get the documentation set up.
Right.
So 10 years from now, it can't happen then. And like we were talking before, when you have those cross connection requirements, those are great when you're starting a corridor and developing it because it's easy to
Right.
make it.
Yeah.
We've kind of added that after it happened in a lot of areas, and we're struggling to basically get that because you can't hold up someone else's CO because of another property owner there.
Yeah, no, and I get
we
it, but that
continue
little
to-
interconnectivity that's behind that
Yeah.
little area is actually really good.
Yeah.
It goes back there by the
Yeah.
VFW and all that. I mean, it's actually,
Yeah.
it's a great way out to the south if need be, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll keep on trying on that
Yeah,
one then,
shame that
along with the
Walgreens
other
wouldn't
ones
do
there.
that.
But
Yeah.
can't say that property owner did try, had valiant effort and basically worked continuous and kept us in the loop as
Now,
they
is
tried
that
to get
property,
it.
is that Walgreens a corporate property owner, or is it a private property owner?
I'm pretty
It
sure
is?
it's corporate, yeah.
Most of them are now selling, and they're selling the property and
Lease it.
leasing them
Leasing
back,
it back,
but,
Hopefully the gas station could survive without it.
well, he's open, I was surprised. He's open
Yeah, I
today,
know,
but,
so
yeah.
they do too.
Go to the next one.
all right,
You
thank
could
you,
get
Tim.
the Corona waffle disease.
Sorry about,
which
sorry
closes
about that
businesses.
question.
Hey, Tim, I have a question for you. On Village Drive, as it comes off of Nova Road when you're going west, where the entryway is by Wells Fargo,
Yeah.
as you make the turn around the island there, there's a lot of pavement deterioration, and people swerve to miss that, and it's getting to be a little bit of a hazard because people trying to avoid. And there's a number of those right there in that area. That pavement really needs to be leveled out.
We'll get with Public Works and check to see on that one then, if it's
Yeah.
on a schedule there, or at least make them aware of that situation there.
Yeah, I've been watching for it to be attended to, but it's just getting worse. And
Yeah, we can
Okay.
get with them
All right.
and then get you an update here next month then.
All right, great, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Seeing no public, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Adjourn.
Thank you.